This is your man Carter the Boss, and welcome to the Carter Podcast. Today we're gonna talk about parents stop blaming yourself for your kids' problems. Let me explain. Let me turn on my earbuds real quick, y'all. Um, Let me explain why this is a topic, a conversation. Because I've noticed a lot of people saying it's my fault my kids act this way. It's my fault that my kids turned out this way. It's my fault. Let's be clear. Growing up, you have to level out what you do in your life as a person. And as you are being groomed and molded into who you're going to become, you're going to make some changes and some in turns on the road of life, right? Our children, we have control over up until like the age of like 15. Let's say 14 to 15 years old. And that's when they start developing into who they're going to be. What happens when you've done all you can for your child and they're now the part of them is in trouble all the time, they want to do what they want to do and things of that nature, right? When that happens is you have to let them learn. Tragically, sometimes it costs them their freedom. Sometimes. So we look at it and say, what did I do wrong? Nothing. Let me take that back. Some of you parents have done wrong because, let me share this out real fast. Okay, we back. So some of you parents have done wrong by your kids. And all right. What happens is that your children look for you to guide them in the right way, right? So let's say you're favoring one child over the other child, right? And let's say like as time goes on, that child grows to have animosity towards the parent. Not, hello, how's it going? That child grows to have animosity towards the parent because it wants that same love and respect that you're giving the other child. So you failed that first child because you're like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and just give all the attention to this kid, right? John, what's going on? We cannot feel saddened or angry by that, right? So what ends up happening is that we try to buy the kids' affection, we try to buy the kids' attention and stuff like that. What ends up happening is that child has not learned that life is not going to provide them with here. You're always going to get what you want. So as a parent, hey, how you doing, Elizabeth? It's important that we teach our children how to move in the right direction. Who your kids hang around with says a lot. It says a lot. But it doesn't say a lot about you as a parent. Not all the time. Gert, how's it going? If you're the type of, I'm going to speak from a father's standpoint. If I'm a father that blows trees and I'm hanging with alcoholics and gang members and all that, right? I don't expect my kid to learn nothing other than what it mimics from me. If I have a woman around and she's dressed with a bunch of makeup and short shorts and she's not really respecting herself, I don't expect my daughters to know what it is to be ladylike. Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for joining. Follow me and I'll follow you back. We have to stop blaming ourselves once our kids reach a point in their life where they feel like they know more than we do. Like sometimes a kid want, oh, I'm grown. I do it like this. I do it like that. Okay, cool. Until they hit that lockup system. Once you hit the lockup system, it's a little different. Because then it becomes, oh, dad, can you come get me? Oh, mom, I'm sorry, right? Stop blaming yourself. You did all you could do. You did the best you could do. You did everything you could with the hand you were dealt. What happens now is that a lot of parents have really become so friendly with their kids, they forgot how to parent their kids. Like, yeah, I want my kids to be able to come to me and tell me everything that's going on in their lives, right, wrong, or the other. But I want to make sure they understand we'll never be on the same playing field, like ever. So when you're sitting there, you're like, oh, I want my kids to act like this. Well, you got to remember, you didn't act like that. There was times where you went out there and you had to find out the hard way. I let my kids be protected as far as like from anybody that's going to try to harm them physically, anybody that's trying to harm them mentally. I step in quickly. But sometimes when the harm is them doing it to themselves, I have to let them learn the hard way. Like, yeah, you gotta learn. You gotta learn. Now what happens now is that like a lot of times like our kids have ran rampant so long that we try to like wing them back in, like, hey, all right, I need you to come back and relax. And what happens is that now they feel like, well, I ain't gotta listen to you. Where you been at this whole time, right? Because you get those kids. They used to say it was just white kids who did it. No, that's not true. That's not true. But now we look at the justification of life. How do we make these kids get back on track? So my daughter goes to a school where I realized like everybody's not cut from the same cloth, which is a good thing, but she watches how adults handle children. And the thing about adults now is they don't have the mindset of the adults from the 70s, 80s, and the early 90s. They don't have that mindset. Even the 60s, they don't have that mindset. They have the 20th century mindset of let me joke around with them, let me laugh with them, and then I'll gain their trust, and then I can teach them. No, tough love from the gate. Tough love from the gate. I hate to be the one to say it like that, but that is what it is. And you gotta have tough love from the gate. When you sit down and you say, you know what, I really would like to be a better person because of this, then be a better person. There's moments where people will say, man, I don't even know how it got to this point. It got to this point because you forgot how to run your house. You forgot when I'm not around, the same rules still apply. But it ain't my fault if my kids go out here and they act a fool. NYC, what up? Mama do, what up, what up? As a man, it used to be if whatever your father said goes, right? And your mother was like, you remember what your father said, right? It used to be that. But now we don't have the strong male the strong male role model in the home, right? He don't even want to be, 90% of the time, he don't even want to be bothered. Because being bothered with his children means he got to be bothered with the baby mom. And 90% of the time, he doesn't want to deal, right? So he'll just let the mom try to raise him the best he can, and then until the stepdad steps in or the boyfriend steps in and he corrects the problem, and then the dad, oh, I don't want nobody, can't nobody say nothing to my kids but me. Nah, somebody could say something to your kid if you ain't doing your part. Know what I'm saying? If you ain't doing your part, somebody can step in and correct that. They're supposed to. I never been the type of man that like be like, man, kids are horrible. I'd be like, yo, let's get to the bottom of why your kid acting this way. Why is your kid acting like that? And people say, how can you relate to kids so easily? It's very simple. I was part of the system. I've been in state's custody growing up. I went to juvenile. I went to little group homes and things of that nature. I went to all that. And it made me see it from the inside, how I would never treat nobody else, period. But you have to realize, like, growing up how I grew up, like my mom was a single mom. My great grandparents were really great grandparents. I mean, you went to church almost every single day unless you hid. But those lessons I learned from them, I take with me to this day. You know what I'm saying? So when you're trying to figure out, like, man, my kids always blaming me because their dad ain't here, their mom ain't here, or they don't have these shoes or these clothes. Well, hold on. I'm providing you the best I can with what I have. Now, once your kids turn what, 16, they can go get a job. Tell them, hey, look, you want better, then go do better. Go out here, get a job, hold down school, and then that's it. What happens with these children nowadays, man, is so funny to me. They never really understand the value of holding on to your money. They understand the value of spending it, but they don't understand the value of holding on to it. Now, does that fall on us? Okay, I'll take that. But does it fall on me to be like, yo, you need to get it together? It's my job to teach you. Like I told my youngest son, it's my job to teach you and ready you for the world. Because one thing about it is that if I put you out in the world and tell you to fend for yourself, but I didn't prepare you for the battle, I'm at fault. It's my fault. It's definitely my fault. But it ain't my fault once I get you to where you need to go and you know the rules, that you go out here and act the fool still. That's not my fault. Don't do what you thought I would. Like I always tell my kids, like, stick up for each other. Stick up for each other. Don't go to prison for each other, but stick up for each other. You gotta remember, there's gonna come a moment where somebody is gonna tell you your parenting skills are too tough. Well, guess what? My parenting skills are going to be the way they are because I need my kid to understand that what I say goes, and I want you to be a successful individual in this world. So stop crying and breaking down. And like, there's times you could call your kid, check on your kid, but don't hound them. Give them some leeway and see if what you taught them is going to pay off in the long run. Because if you taught them the right way, they shouldn't waver from it. But if you taught them and they say, well, I think mom and dad are crazy, I'm going to try it my way. Consequences of the game, all right? Y'all tune in to the next one.